So, last night, right after my last video, I created a new atomic particle. It's called a Megatron, where a proton is 1 volt of hydrogen, and a neutron is 0.5 volts of helium, and an electron is 0.5 watts of oxygen. A megatron is 6 watts of sugar. Sugar is the physical form of light. I don't know if I can prove that to you. I can reason it with you. But the easiest way to make sense of it is to say that plants, they absorb light, and as they process it into food, it becomes sugar. So light naturally transforms into sugar. And that's why sugar gives us so much energy. It's light. But you see, light has never existed in a complete state before. It's always been a raw material that's the building block that makes everything else up. So the purpose of the Megatron is to make light into a complete form. This new atomic particle. What it's made out of is just light brought into its a complete state without altering it in any way, except making it a complete. I don't know if isotope is the right word. I think an isotope might be a full molecule, but that's the word that comes to mind. Is that it's in a full isotope. So I guess the purpose of it, which I still haven't completely ascertained, is that the universe before I created Megatron has no purpose other than to grow. Simply, like everything has its own smaller purpose, of course, like trees. Trees produce oxygen and stuff like that. Everything has a form and a shape. Water produces. Water lubricates friction, so it makes it so heat's not as extreme, and it makes things more fluid and flexible and movable. Water is essentially lubrication. Fire is essentially heat, and Earth is essentially life forms. Solid matter. But Megatron is power, and not regular power, like fuel, but not just any fuel, like a super fuel, energy that makes us more complete. I guess I'll have to try and read it in order to explain it to you. I don't know anything about it yet. So let's see. It's just exactly what I created for. See, it's an enhanced version of light in the raw. Light being the building material that makes everything up. So it doesn't have a purpose as in being a specific type of one form of life or another, or one type of matter or another. The purpose is to take that which is the most pure, the most pure form of existence, and elevate it. So it's also the most powerful form of existence, because Earth is normally the most powerful element, because it has all this vitality and it's immortal. You can't destroy it. Once you break down plants, they can be grown back into full plants. Like you can cut a branch off a tree or a plant, and you can grow it into a whole another plant. You can make a whole other tree out of it. So that's basically the purpose of Earth, is that it's this immortal life, this long-standing, unbeatable, undestroyable life form. Doesn't have much of an ability to fight or combat or defend itself, but you can't erase it, and it always has a way of becoming a plant again. You can break it down into dirt, you can rotting it, which is usually what will happen if a plant is decimated. It just supports more plants. It grows even more life, and it can even turn into other plants. It can grow more plants from the rotted material. So, and even fungus. So, breaking down the earth element doesn't really do anything negative to it. And the fire element, it's not really, can't really be destroyed or created. It can't be really destroyed or undestroyed. It's primarily heat. It just moves. It goes from one place to another. It's heat can be dispersed, or it can be concentrated. It's mostly friction. So heat is more movement than matter, but it's still made up of something. It has to be a chemical in order to exist. So that's helium. That's the chemical that is. And it has different variations. Different parts of the helium molecule atom can do different things. Like every element has a sub-element and a sub-sub-element. In addition, every element takes on a different form when it has a different charge to it. And usually what it'll be charged with is light. Now, in science, it's more common to believe that when someone's charged with positive energy, it's always a proton. But there are certain chemicals that can charge a particle in other ways. And that being said, the air element has a light sub-element to it, but it's not a full element. It's kind of like an artificial light, which is actually exactly what it is. It's an artificial version of light, because the air element is partly artificial. Air's two sub-elements are light and then silicon. So it's kind of neither here nor there on the artificial and natural scale, because the fifth element, so it's not a complete raw element like earth, fire, and water, because earth, fire, and water are atomic particles that can be converted and combined into other chemicals. Every other chemical besides earth, fire, and water, besides hydrogen, helium, and oxygen, are just combinations of those three. So when I say I made another atomic particle, I mean this isn't like other chemicals. It's not a combination of those three things in any way, but it's actually a form of the light that makes them up, made into its own element. And I've been trying to make a light element for a while, and I failed every other time. But this time I got it, and it's just made it with this 6-pointed star, not quite shaped like a Star of David, and with no lines in the center. I'd have to draw it for you. I'm gonna try and edit it into one of my videos, maybe this one, maybe not. I don't know if my video editing software on my computer works, so I'll have to test it out. But either way, it's kind of how would I put this? It's not about what the symbol itself is. It's what the magnetic attenuation of the symbol creates. because symbols they magnetically attune or attenuate energy. They push the energy through them like a circuit in a computer, and they convert that energy. So when energy comes into contact with a geometric symbol or any symbol, any curve, anything, any line, any angle of whatever kind, it changes the energy. Each and everything affects every other thing. But this symbol, it generates like a sugar crystal, and I'm not talking about a physical sugar crystal, although technically everything is physical. In the same way that regular atomic particles, their nucleus is smaller than their surrounding material. I don't remember what they call the surrounding bit, but almost like an aura, I guess, would be a substitute word I could use for it. But that outside of the particle is shaped like a big pointed crystal, almost like a snowflake. It's just like a six-pointed star. So I've got this particle and I don't know what to do with it. I just know that it's this really strong power, and that it gives the universe a purpose in that it has a greatness to aspire to, and it no longer has to take these natural cycles back into nature, because nature, its natural tendency is to first create, build up, grow into greater and greater things, taller and taller, bigger and bigger, more and more prominent, and then when those things reach their expiration date, they break down, and they rot, and through their rotting, they become part of the soil, which supports every other form of life. They live off of it. We all keep trading and exchanging our energy. But this is such a powerful energy source, 6 times more powerful than the previous most powerful particle. That, well, I'm checking my battery. I can't even see how much battery I have left. It's such a much more powerful particle that it gives us this might to do whatever we want to accomplish anything. But the problem, it's not a problem to me, but it'll be a problem to evil people. The problem for evil people, and the solution that this provides by its nature, is that any form of pure light that's not in the form of a natural element like earth, fire, and water, it always has a tendency to side with good and punish evil. It rewards good, it elevates good, it enlightens good, it heightens good, and it charges good. It charges it up and makes it more powerful. And it'll do that to evil too. But when something tries to fight its charge, fight the nature of light, then the light reflects that darkness that they try to put into it onto them. It in fact doubles it. It gives them their own malice that they put into it, plus a punishment for it. Or as I used to say, my old formula for trying to change the world was revenge plus punishment. Not just one or the other. That's how you do real damage. That's where destruction comes in, because of karma. If you just take revenge, then you're only atoning for what you did. You're setting it back into the place that it was. And revenge is made to do harm and to set things right. But punishment is to teach someone a lesson, so that they learn from their mistake. To say, you should not do this because this is what will happen. And what makes it a punishment and not revenge is when it's teaching them something, when it's giving them a concept of, okay, I now, because of my punishment, understand what I did wrong and why it was wrong. So when you put those things together, you're actually causing something that is destructive to happen to them. You're causing them to actually get weaker. You're not just setting it back. You're not just turning back the clock. You're not just taking the evil and putting it back into the motion, back into the place that it used to be before it affected you. And you're not just making them suffer so that they'll learn. You're putting on twice the darkness on them for what they gave to you. You're doing both. So you're locking them in that state of destruction, of negativity and of pain. More so pain than negativity. Darkness can be positive as well, depending on how it's charged. The common conception of darkness being negative and light being positive is just purely untrue. Any element or any facet of reality can become positive, negative, or neutral to any degree and still be the same element or the same basic substance. It just changes its nature and changes its meaning within a certain constraint of its parameters. For instance, the sixth element, the energy element, which is made of nitrogen, in it has a north pole and a south pole, just like any magnet, but on its I don't remember which pole, but on one of those poles, the negative form of it is pain, and the neutral form of it is satisfaction, but then the positive form of it is pleasure. It's all the same element, it's all energy, it's all nitrogen, but it has different phases and different stages it can enter into. It's not even a chemical, but an electronic difference between pain and pleasure. That's why so many people can enjoy pain, because they're identical, but they're just in different states of being. So this Megatron that I've made, it can be negatively charged. That can happen. It can be corrupted, or rather perverted. It can become not so good, and it's a lot of power to turn against good if you can manage to do it. But you won't be able to do it without facing the punishment and the revenge first. And the revenge of the light is swift. It destroys your luck. Worse, it gives you bad luck. It curses you. It deeply, deeply curses you. And it can just make the most powerful leader into the most shriveled, crimpled, whimpering baby. Pile of mush, metaphorically. So that's what I like about this Megatron. I like that it's called a Megatron. By the way, I didn't make that name up. I read it psychically to understand what it is, and that's the vibration that means this particle is a Megatron. So it just happens to be parallel with that character from Transformers, and I think that's really cool. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much all I had to say, and probably gonna run out of battery soon, so yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think I did a good job explaining it. I'll learn more about it later and do another video. Okay? Bye.